Hello everyone, welcome back to the kitchen table. Today on the kitchen table we're going to be talking about leveling the gimbal on your Phantom 3 if you have one that's a little bit off center out of the box. So we're going to have a look at some things you can try. Before we go any further though, it's the kitchen table, and as is tradition we must have a beverage when discussing our drones. There's been a lot of coffee on the table lately, a lot of early morning recording. We're really a bit more relaxed time of the day today, so we're on the wine, and this is sort of appropriate, I guess, aviation terms. This is called bent wing. Luckily so far I haven't bent anything on the P3. This is a South Australian Shiraz Grenache Mourvèdre 2013 reserve, and jolly good it is too, so cheers everyone. Yum yum yum. So Phantom 3, some people have been finding, and myself included, you may remember, let me just get the this off. I'll put a link on screen now to my first ever kind of flight test with it. You may remember that the horizon was slightly off. There was a bit of a lean like this. You know, the camera wasn't straight. It set itself to an angle, and this is not uncommon. Now, one of the things that happens, of course, is these things get sent, especially if you're, wherever you're all buying them from, either direct from DJI from a dealer, they're being sent by DHL, shipped around the world. If you ordered them direct, like I did, you'll know that they pack them loose inside an outer box. So there's a lot of shaking. So it's not surprising that perhaps the inertial management units have taken a bit of a beating. And it's probably no bad thing that you should calibrate those the first time you get any aircraft new out of the box. But even so, it's sort of, some people I know are wary perhaps of running through some of these more what appear to be advanced functions. So I'm going to go through a few things you can try in increasing order of complexity and pain in the bumness. You can try to level up your gimbal. So the first thing that you can try is actually to do a gimbal calibration in the air. Next time you're flying and it's a relatively pretty calm day and you've got this aircraft in a really solid, lovely, motionless hover, go into the app and hit the Calibrate Gimbal button. It will say calibration failed because it knows that it's not on the ground, but let it run through anyway and then see what happens. Because for me and for a lot of other people, just doing that sorted it out. Because now going forward, the gimbal kind of agrees with the aircraft about what is level. And that is the easiest way to do it. Don't try and do it on a windy day where the aircraft is heeling over, try and keep steady. Pick a nice calm day and do it like that. The other thing you could obviously do is try and do that same calibration not in the air, but you want to try and do it on as level a surface as possible. Now, people have said, well, the top of the aircraft is curved, and how do we find a level, and what if my table's a bit wonky? And well, yes, one way of doing it is to sort of chock up the legs of your kitchen table and try and get a level, but the other way to do it is using one of these, and because it's the kitchen table, look at that, a glass chopping block thing. If you haven't crashed your P3, and all the motors should be lined up on the same plane with the IMU in the aircraft, and as you can see that these are fitting beautifully, there's no tip and wobble. Once you've done that, you can stick that on, and then all you need to do is actually just adjust whatever the aircraft's standing on. So rather than adjusting the whole table, if you put another board underneath it, I could just chock that up with a bit of paper. As it is though, that's pretty good. That's within the levels, isn't it? And then just check the diagonals and check across. And when you've got a nice level surface, run the gimbal calibration again. And maybe do it 1 or 2 times. See if that works for you. Failing that, if that isn't doing it either, then the next step, and remember I'm doing these in increasing order of what a pain it is to do them. The next step is to run a full IMU calibration. What this basically does is reset the inertial measurement unit so it knows what is straight and level. The first thing you need to do is just what we've done. You need to make sure that the aircraft is on a completely level surface. You also need to do it cold. This doesn't necessarily mean put it in the fridge, although I know some people do. What it means is that make sure the aircraft hasn't been running for a good several hours. Probably get it out in the morning after it's been away all night and do it then. And then what you need to do is fire it up and then immediately go into IMU calibration. Make sure it's on your level surface and then let it do its thing. Don't touch it, don't knock it. Keep everything out of its way and people out the room and your pets away and all that kind of stuff. When it's run through its IMU, which can take several minutes, immediately following that, knowing that you're on this perfectly level surface, immediately following that, do a gimbal calibration. Fingers crossed, those things should get you there. If they don't, then there are some other things you can do, but in reality, personally, having spent the money, if it was me and I ran through all the possible calibration options, I might be expecting DJI to sort that out. That would be my opinion. If after running through gimbal calibrations, IMU calibrations on a perfectly level surface, it still won't hold. There have been some people taking the backs off the motor and the gimbal here and noticing that there was a physical hardware misalignment, a very slight one, which meant that even when the IMU was telling it to hold level, there was a 1 or 2 degree off because of the way it was put in. Some people have been taking the back off and you know, it's quite fiddly, and I can't recommend you do that. That's warranty busting, and that, you know, you shouldn't have to either. You might want to talk to DJI support and say you've run through all these things and it's still not level. That's up to you. I know there is an adjustment now in the app that can tweak the things, but to be honest, as with most things, start from a good, genuine level position, and then let's get everything squared away by doing getting the hardware sorted out with an IMU calibration. I think that's definitely better than kind of fixing it by tweaking things in the app. So there we go, that was it. I hope that's been useful. Give it a try. If anyone has come up with any other things that have worked for them, or if anyone, as I say, I haven't had to dig any deeper than this because mine leveled up by doing it in the air. If you've got other issues that you've run across or other ways of doing it, please do let us know in the comments below. That'd be really excellent. But there we go. Thank you very much indeed for watching, as ever, and I really appreciate all the views, and thank you for subscribing if you have, and a particular thanks to those people who've made a small donation either via PayPal or via Patreon, or who have used one of the shopping links down below. You're really helping to support the channel and to help me being able to continue to do these, and I really appreciate it. So many thanks. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Take care. Cheers. Pantum? Honestly, that's the first sip.